We can start the space maybe, and yeah, just make sure to share so more and more people join to listen about hear about our ideas and what we aim with Battle for Giostone. And we got Ziori here. Hi, man.
Hello, everybody. Okay, so Mila, let's start. Firstly and foremost, the most important thing, we launched a trailer. What do you think of the trailer?
Well, to be honest, I love the trailer. I watched it like 10 times. When we posted it's really cool, I think, and it kind of brings the vibes we need, and yeah, we have like over 50K impressions and or like 10K views on it, and it feels amazing, really.
Yes, that's amazing. I have to admit it looks wonderful. So another interesting thing is that we're already launching esports tournaments. So people who don't know anything about the game, the pre-alpha is not out yet, and yet when they see the trailer, they go to the game and they see that something is already building. We're already creating tournaments. So that's a very, very exciting thing. One interesting thing that I would like to mention is that it's only a matter of time before some force creates a massive influx of new players into the entire play turn space. Creators too. And we at Battle for Geostone believe that the X factor to do that is esports. So here's a great example. Sky Mavis with Axie has been building for 4 years. At the start, they had V1 battles. That's a fraction of everything that was at the start. Then they had V2, that was a massive step up from V1, and now Origins is even better. So people that take a look at the game now will be even more amazed when the pre-alpha launches and the tournaments that we will host then. What are your opinions about that?
Yeah, so my opinion is right now the tournaments that we hosted are just based on some really unbalanced tables. We have the heroes, we got some abilities, and they are not yet balanced. And people are really playing the tournaments to try to find the first ever meta, and also trying uh, to give us feedback and discover bugs, for example, give us feedback on what's good, what's bad, what they want to see like a change in the game. And basically we I really feel great about hosting these tournaments, even if it's not perfect. It's like we don't have the spectator mode yet, but people can still play, we can still stream somehow, and we got actually quite interest for in the viewers aspect in the last tournament. So we got like 100 people watching from Twitch, and then more people watching from the Discord live streamings as well. So I think it's really great, and I think the first leap in these tournaments would be when we got the spectator mode inserted in the pre-alpha game, so we can actually spectate and stream on our own, and with added commentatory and things like that. So, and also about the other thing that people can like join already and try the game. Yeah, it's true. So everyone can request to get the pre-alpha club role, and you can download the current pre-alpha build. We got like 20 abilities, and we got the map without user interface yet, but it's on its way soon as well. So everyone that wants to join to try the game, give us feedback, is welcomed, and you can just join our Discord server and ask in the general chat for the role, and just make sure that you have a decent GPU, because this version is not yet optimized for low-end PCs, and all graphics are like with the highest quality possible, and so you need like decent GPU to try the game. And yeah.
Okay, perfect. So one interesting thing about the game is that Battle for Geostone is a game that's being built by real gamers. You are a real gamer, I'm a real gamer, everybody on the team is a real gamer, everyone has experiences in Dota 2, League of Legends, Mobile Legends, MOBAs. Tiban was also an esports player. So the best thing about the game is that it moves away from the economy. No one cares about the economy right at the start, and we're all focused on the game first. So the players are going to think, are they having fun? Can they play this game with their friends? Will they be able to find out the new meta? So these two questions, or three questions, we want to answer right from the start. Battle for Geostone is a fun game to play, and you can play this game with your friends, and you can find out the current meta. So the economy can go up, down, crash, rise, but if gamers and people can stake hours in the game and have a lot of fun in return, they won't care about the economy because they already got the reward in the first place. They had the fun. What do you think about that?
Yeah, in my opinion, when we talk about economies, rewards, and games, I think one really important thing is how people will see their money put into the game. So if you see, let's say you're a casual player, right? You play BFG, and if you see, let's say you buy like 5 or 10 NFTs, if you see that as an investment, and if you are aiming and rushing to get it back, right? I don't by if you're aiming to get it back by just playing pub games, exchanging GST to BFG, I don't think that's like the very right approach, because we want everyone that joins the game and buys an NFT. If you want to earn, if you want to get your return of investment, then you can. There are other ways to do it, through esports, tournaments, through leaderboards, like being really good. But just by playing pubs, we don't think that the buying NFTs should be considered an investment at the first place, because you know we also want to make it really cheap to join, to forge heroes, not some crazy prices. And that's why we have the automated algorithm that will basically calculate uh, and modify the prices for the forges based on the market situation, based on forges on the past month, and based on the network activity, basically. And we want to keep the floor prices down, so everyone can join with like $20, $30, and play the game without considering it as an investment. And also we have the free to play aspect in the game, which everyone can basically join. That's why we want to be the first game that basically makes a Web 3 game. But if you are a Web 2 gamer, you wouldn't even notice that it's Web 3. That's the first step when we think about mass adoption in Web 3. So if you're a Web 2 gamer and you join our game and you play the game, you just sign up, you get a hero, you play the game, then that's it. So you don't even notice that this is a Web 3 game. That's the first step towards merging the Web 2 with the Web 3, and then the first leap through mass adoption. And how are we going to do that is through giving the free to play option for everyone, so everyone could just join our launcher, make an account, and play the game. So each week we will have 10 free heroes that are chosen and made by us, so the free to play users can play those 10 heroes absolutely for free. And then, if at some point they decide that they want to move to Web 3, or they want to get some skins, then that's their first leap from the Web 2 to Web 3. And then they will be actually interested by themselves to get the skin, and they will want to learn how to do it. Because if you force someone to learn, to join the game, to play, to buy NFT first, it's really complicated for someone that have no experience in Web 3. Let's say I don't have idea about anything, so I need a wallet. I need to bridge, to go on like some decks to exchange funds first, then buy this NFT. It's all complicated for someone that is not experienced here. So that's why the free to play option is actually something really cool when it comes to this question.
Perfect. So the end goal for Battle for Geostone is for people not to fully realize that they're interacting with the blockchain. Now, it takes people with a deep level of understanding of both the gaming and the crypto world to start playing these games. But if you were to create a MetaMask wallet and then you have to go to a DEX, it's easy to just one wrong click or one phishing link can drain your entire account. So one interesting thing about Battle for Geostone that you mentioned is also the aspect of MOBA gaming. You know, people playing and paying a little bit of money to see how the game is going to go. So in games like Dota, you need to spend at least 100 hours before you get into the ranked matches. And then you have a whole other world of esports and fighting with other people and climbing to the ranks until you get to Immortal. So, Battle for Geostone rewards are going to progress based on how much time, effort, and skill players use to play the game. So, can you go a little bit deeper in that for everyone that doesn't know?
Yeah, so basically, what we are trying to build here is build a different structure and different approach, and we have a different approach in the whole economy thing that we want to basically connect players and gamers with investors. So, if you consider yourself an investment, we have the revenue sharing. We will have the revenue sharing options, which is equivalent to staking. In some other in like other projects you see that as staking, but we call it like revenue sharing option, because if you go with your BFG and you, let's say you consider yourself an investor, you don't want to play the game, you don't want to do anything, you're not gamer, but you want to participate in this ecosystem and you want to own BFG for some reason, then you can buy the BFG, and then you can buy you can basically stake them and get access to the revenue sharing option based on how many BFG you have staked. So if you have, like, let's say, the 10k BFG staked, you will get a portion of the game revenue inside the marketplace. So every revenue the game makes, not just the marketplace, but let's say revenue from skins, revenue from battle passes, compendiums, every revenue stream the game captures, you get a portion of it based on how many BFG you have staked, and that will be kept at some point. It's not abused in some kind. So this is like why we think that it's good is because the revenue is actually coming from the gamers, and then you would say, but the gamers are basically providing for the stakers. No, because the gamers will be actually receiving NFT drops after like it will be like a chance after each game to receive an NFT modifier for the stakers. So if you're a gamer and you play, let's say, thousand of matches, you got a chance every after each match you have a chance to receive an NFT modifier, which is not beneficial to you because you're not staker, but is very beneficial to the stakers. There will be several type of modifiers. Like first one would be APY increasement. Second one would be like seniority increasement. The seniority is something that we will review later. And then this is like another type of modifier that we were thinking is something like a breeding modifier, when you can, like something like egg, when then the stakers would need to apply that modifier in their staking dashboard, and after, let's say, 14 or 15 days, they get skin out of it, and then they can sell that back to the gamers. So that's why we want to connect the gamers with the people that are investors and want to invest in the game or in the token without actually playing the game or interacting with the game. And that way gamers are beneficial to the stakers by selling, and they can actually earn something as well by selling those modifiers to the stakers, and stakers actually staking BFG and having a real reason why you want to hold this token, because it captures real revenue from the gamers, from the battle pass, from the skin sales, and everything else. And yeah, we think that this is the right approach.
Perfect. So, one interesting thing is that there is still a bit of friction between traditional gaming, maybe traditional MOBA titles like Dota 2, League of Legends, and Web3. So, that can be attributed to the inherent distrust of something new. Everyone doesn't want change, and if you grew up playing Dota, you played Dota for 15 years, you're not going to want to switch it. But of course, this is going to, let's say, dissipate naturally. but it exists because when like hostile relationship between Web 2 and Web 3. What do you think is going to be like the main thing that brings people from Dota 2 and League of Legends to Battle for Geostone? So when you mention NFTs, many people hear that like a profile picture, something like that, a board ape will do good, and then it tanks. Maybe something that something is just chilling, and then they distrust everything in the space. There were a lot of rugs. So what is the process to make people convinced that we're doing something good, that this is all secure, you're playing a game, you're getting rewarded for your time, effort, and skills?
Yeah, so basically, the first thing I think, why would someone from Dota, for like games such Dota or big title like Dota, come to BFG or League of Legends, is because of how small the price barriers are for the gamers. So let's say you're a professional Dota 2 player, but you're not tier 1 player, you're tier 2 player, let's say. I have many friends that are tier 2 players from Serbia, for why that really are good at the game. They are like immortal top 100, top 50, but they still cannot earn a living from the game. Even they are like 0.0 best in the whole game, they still cannot make a living out of the game. So that's when Battle for Geostone first come in place, and we want to reward more players from the esports perspective. So how are we going to do that? Is actually uh, first give really big percentage from, let's say, battle pass sales or some other revenues, put into these prize pools, and then distribute it to many more tiers than just tier 1. So we will have like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, let's say. And then we can reward like 5% from the players in being able to play professionally and earn. So if you are like top 5% in the game, you could actually join some professional league. Even if it's not tier 1, you could still earn something. But in these games, you either go big or go home. That's the
Yes.
hardest part and the most scary part in esports right now. Because yeah, I know there are like salaries, the organizations and everything, but really, if you don't get some tournament, if you don't win some tournament, then it really doesn't matter. Because that's the scary part, and we want to extend that first. So so that's why would someone like a tier 2 Dota player or tier 3 Dota player would want to switch to Battle for Geostone, because of esports. And then guess what? They also have fans, that wants to watch them, and also they have their own audience, their own brands, which can benefit in Battle for Geostone a lot, because Battle for Geostone and esports is all about viewership. We are not making the game only being fun to play, but being fun to watch as well. When there are like commentators in the game talking about the game and all that hype they make, they trigger emotions. So I believe that emotions are like the really what's needed for some esport, for some game to become an esports title. If you can trigger emotions in everyone watching, then you're on the right path. And by audience, you can actually attract sponsors, you can attract a lot of gaming gear, gaming gear companies. Then you have companies like Mercedes, BMW already sponsoring these major esports titles. So our aim is to be like you know big as them, and attract as many sponsors as we can, that will bring fresh capital into our ecosystem as well, by sponsoring USD, and sponsoring gear, or sponsoring different things. And they will get their their investment back, let's say. Or like, it's not an investment, but they will get something back, and that's the viewers will actually see their ads. And these ads are not something that will interrupt your game or something, but it's just on the streams, it's in the game names. So the whole ecosystem would be sustainable if we actually make these esports tournaments, and all these audience want to watch the game, and make everything fun to play and fun to watch.
Yes, you're completely correct. So now let's get back to the Dota 2 players. People who play MOBA games are generally concerned with being the best that they can possibly be. So if you're in the top 5% of people or top 1% of people, you want to wake up every day and you want to think of new strategies, you want to train with your friends, and you want to be the best. They are not as concerned as other people with creating content. When you're a lot of Dota 2 players are practically more focused on playing the game than creating content. But in the case of Battle for Geostone, creators can be the thing that bridges the gap because they can identify with their audience. So, for example, when you have someone like Theban or you, they can say, hey, look, I was just like you. I played Dota, I won a few tournaments, I was good, I was a coach, I was an advisor. I felt the same things. I know how hard it is to train every day. If you take a break of 2 weeks, the meta has already changed. Maybe they have something else that's going on, and here's how I overcame Web 2 and came to Web 3. This is what I'm doing now, and let me guide you through the way and how and teach you how you can just switch over. So at the moment in these games like Dota 2 and League of Legends, there aren't a lot of people who think about owning their assets. And when you explain that when you 100% own your assets, that's like a major plus that will make you and force you to move on to this game. Even if Battle for Geostone is like 20 or 30% people better than these games, people are still gonna switch to it. But it's 100% better because players can have 100% of the ownership. So, what do you think? How are creators going to use their skills and maybe progress the game before major sponsors come in?
Well, we really value the creators in our community, and we know that they are really important in the whole space, and they have large audiences, and not like only uh, even if you're a small creator, you could still become big by being the first. Let's say even if you're nobody and you start creating content for Battle for Just now, and imagine Battle for Geostone like skyrockets their audience, their players in like 5 months. Who do you think they're gonna watch first? Their videos, right? And that's a really good chance now for everyone that is a content creator or want to become one to just start maybe creating some videos, right? Maybe there's not a lot you can do right now, but you could, let's say, open the game, play a little bit, test different abilities, uh, give feedbacks about balance changes and all that stuff. And you can actually create a content already on the game and in this community. And we strongly believe that the content creators are really important and have huge role in this ecosystem, and we want to reward them. So that's why we are considering and we are preparing a special program for content creators where they're where and also not just content creators but brands and big esports teams from web 2, let's say, organizations. So we will have this exclusively accessible only for content creators and professional brands, that we will give them the freedom to design their own skins in the game or their own things. Let's say some team wants to design a flag that goes, that follows your hero with their brand on it. Then they will be able to design it and sell that to the marketplace and actually earn from the revenue there and what they sell. The same thing goes for content creators as well. They can create stickers, they can create voice lines, they can create skins, they can create everything they want to, and they will be accepted in the marketplace so they can sell that to other players and actually earn revenue from that. And we think that this is a really good approach, and we want to attract as many content creators and brands as possible, because they have the audience. If they like the game, then they can create the content, they can create the skins, voice lines, whatever, stickers, then sell to their fans, and everyone just will have fun, right?
Yes, that's the main point. So, for example, let's go to Axie. Axie V2 was a very niche game. You had to be like a person who likes card games. You want to like counting energy. You want to play adventure. It's hyper competitive, yes, but it's also a very niche game. it wouldn't appeal to the masses. For example, at the top, they had like 3 million players. MOBAs, on the other hand, I don't know if this information is correct, but I don't know, either Dota or League of Legends have like 10 billion hours each month on Twitch of just watch time. People just watch Dota 2 for 10 billion hours each month. So, Battle for Geostone is founded by people who like MOBA games. It's going to be a MOBA game. We are not going to allow ourselves to put out something that people will not enjoy. So we will refuse to put out something that we won't like to play first as MOBA players and our friends won't like. So we have too much respect for the entire craft of the gaming and MOBA space to put out anything that's not extremely fun. And when you have something extremely fun and accessible to the masses, success is almost guaranteed. So now let's get into the gameplay. 5 heroes start. You can play with heroes. There is a shrine. There is a geo. There's a dragon. They can claim a stone. Creeps can become stronger. There are 3 lanes: jungle, river. How will that work? Can we go a little bit deeper in that?
Yeah, so if someone of you watched the tournament that we just had, it's actually like you could already see the game flow. But for those that haven't seen the tournament, so basically we have two teams of five competing against each other, and they need to destroy the enemy base to win, basically just like any other MOBA game. But there is something called Geo, which is a dragon that spawns every 4 minutes, beginning from minute five. Then, when you kill that dragon, and that dragon will drop a stone, and if you pick the stone, your creeps basically are being stronger by 20%. But there is this interesting comeback mechanic when if you kill the guy that is holding the stone will be dropped, and the enemy team can pick it up and actually turn the game around just by picking the stone. So uh, in the first uh, 10 games in Battle for Geostone tournaments, we haven't actually seen someone killing the dragon. And, the game is called Battle for Geostone because the whole action had to be around the geostone. And no one actually killed the dragon, and everyone was just focused on killing the shrines. Yeah, that was interesting thing because, they haven't figured it out yet. They they figured out that the shrines are really important, and then that you can kill the enemy shrine. So some teams started rushing level like minute zero shrine killing and forcing team fights from the minute zero. And then we made an update, balance update, basically where we what we did was we had like 1.5 minute delay before you could attack any building in the game. So then that meta finished basically, and in the next tournament, people started figuring out that there is the dragon in the game, and they actually, uh, I think in the semifinals, the first game was the first game where they realized about the dragon. They killed the dragon, and they actually were able to finish the game really faster. Because if you don't kill the dragon right now, the only advantage you have is the XP advantage. But if you kill the dragon, then you have better creeps. When you take the second stone, you have better stats for your heroes, and then it becomes really easy for you to outplay your enemy and win the game. So when they did it first and everyone on the stream watched that, then for the other game, the every team fight was around the dragon area, and then we finally have the you know have them understood what's happening and how important is actually geo here in the game. So they killed the dragon, they got stronger, and now we have quicker games as well. Before the dragon killing, the games were 25 to 30 minutes long, and now when we have the dragon fights and the stones, the games just became shorter, and we have like 15 minutes game now, like 12 to 15-minute games, which is really interesting and fast paced for the mass adoption. Everyone wants paced game, but not so fast. And I'm also against like 3-minute games or like 5-minute games. So that's why we wanted to make BFG interesting for everyone. So whether you are someone retired that just want to play a couple of games per day, you could spend 1 hour and play 4 matches, for example. And we have a special plot in the game that will be revealed later, and it's actually something that you do never saw in other MOBA games. Actually, another victory condition, not killing the opponent's throne, but we will save that for some special stream for sure.
So that's going to keep them wondering what it is. One interesting thing is that Dota is a game developed as an SDK of Warcraft. And X is going to release an SDK soon. So people will be able to build other games inside the game. Is that something that's planned for Battle for Geostone? Maybe some other types of games, maybe something like Mirror, where everyone has the same hero? Because at the moment, there are close to 6 million combinations of heroes. So the meta can change at any minute, and anyone can create the ideal hero for the current meta at any minute. So it's going to be the most hyper competitive game on the market at the moment. So what's the future gonna look like?
Well, yeah, you're right. It's extremely hard to balance all the abilities and the heroes because you got like almost not six, but I think we're close to 3 million combinations with the 72 abilities now and the rules that we have for the abilities. So then we faced some problem like what if everyone gets the same ultimate, and it's some global ultimate like Sunstrike in Dota or Black Hole. Then we think about something called global cooldown. So if someone casts an ultimate which has a global cooldown, another teammate have its ability on cooldown as well. And there are some other things that we are approaching to basically try to balance the the game as much as possible. And Tiban is actually uh, doing his best, and he's really good at that. He's like the master of balancing. And yeah, it's really hard, but we will eventually get there. And about the meta, yeah, it can be changed in any moment, and we would like to so that's why we still don't have items in the game, right? And then when we see, we'll have only like 10 items maybe from start that will be basic items. And then based on the meta, we can add items that counter certain abilities, right? So that's really interesting thing to build items based on the meta, how it's going the meta. So that's not going to affect your hero, but but it's something that you could buy through the game. So let's say we have some ability doing massive physical damage, right? You have items that have physical resistance or armor, right? And you can add this item, or you have this some OP magical damage, and then you have something like BKB, right? And that's how you basically balance the game, how we want to basically balance the game from beginning. And then later on, based on the meta, based on our metrics that we will take, we're gonna make sure that we have a fun and balanced game to play.
And also, let's talk about seasonal rewards for a bit. A lot of these old traditional games have a lot of money. I mean, we already know about that. Then they made, let's see, in 2021 or 2020, I saw that they made $101 billion in a year. So that's a massive industry. And yet, play to earn games were the things that came up with a leaderboard reward. So seasonal rewards are a small addition for every season because as a player, you invest a lot of time for a few months. In mobile games, it's even more. You spend years to become the best. So you just give them a few tokens as a reward. All Web2 companies had the money to do this, and yet none of them did this. Battle for Geostone is going to have seasonal rewards, and yet that's going to tie into tournaments and all those sorts of things. What do you think about that? The traditional versus this new modern model of leaderboards, rewards, and seasonal rewards.
Yeah, well, companies from Web2 games, they have really huge amount of players, and they earn a lot of money. But you need to know that they also have a lot of things to work on, a lot of things to pay for, right? It's not just pure profit because it takes a lot of time, resources, and effort to build something that is fun. It's not just like it's not like you have the money and that's it, right? You need to find the right people. You need a lot of things to come together to basically build the right thing. So, really, I think the traditional games are not giving enough back to the players. I really think that, and that's why Web3 is here to change the whole thing. And I think is the right approach to give something back to the community and reward them for their time spent in the ecosystem. But just make sure that that's sustainable and that's not gonna sink after some time.
Yes, that's true. So Battle for Geostone is going to be all about empowering players. We plan to do that by esports, creating a fun and immersive experience for every participant. Would you like to say something else, maybe some new news to update everyone?
Uh, Not really. I think that's it. If someone have any question, you can guys feel free to turn on your and request to speak. We will let you in, and you can ask any questions you got out there.
Yes, there was, I think, Sun wanted to ask a question, but I don't know. I think he left from the space at the moment. So if everyone has a question, we can answer a question. Okay, I don't think there's anyone asking the. Okay, so one last thing. A few days ago, Brax and T-Bone were talking about Web 2 and Web 3 games, and there was a fun thing that sort of like ring the bell in my head. When there are MMORPGs, Brax wants to go to the marketplace and flip items instead of gaining levels. So T-Bone goes out and he plays Dota. Brax plays Dota 2. They're both the same kinds of mobile players. And yet, when you give them an MMORPG, they do the completely opposite things. T-Bone goes, gains levels, wants to fight, and Brax likes to trade items from one village to the next. Do you think that Battle for Geostone is going to attract people who just want to create the ultimate hero, to create meta heroes, maybe flip NFTs for a profit? Because there's also the marketplace approach to things. What do you think about that?
Yeah, sure. Everyone that thinks that it's not just even it's not just about creating heroes and flipping them, right? You could flip hero because it's strong and you forge a meta hero, but the other thing is like skins, right? There are a lot of people just interested in trading skins, not even heroes, right? But just skins because they give the final look to the heroes, and they will have a lot of skins in the game. So yeah, I think there is always space for those that want to trade skins as well as those that want to be the best in the game and play esports, or just someone that wants to spend 15 minutes for a game. And yeah, it's about everyone, and everyone having its place in the ecosystem, actually, not just the gamers but the investors as well, right? So gamers are beneficial to investors are beneficial to gamers. It's common thing, and then the esports and everything just comes together when it creates a sustainable economy.
Perfect. So that's it. If anyone has another question, they can ask us now. We can all see you inside the game. You can contact Mile or anyone or ask a question inside the Discord group. You can follow us on Twitter, join a Discord, message everyone, ask a question. We're open to everything.
Anyone have some questions? Oh, all right, guys, that was it. Thank you very much for listening this episode of BFG Talks. And yeah, we're gonna have the next episode next week, and I hope to see you more and more.
Have a nice day, everyone. It was nice talking to you, Mile, and let's see you all guys again next week. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.